I filmed this whole video and then wasn't even recording with my mic. So we love a genius. Today I'm going to be recommending you guys books based off of tropes that you commented on a post. Chandler did this video and Lala did this video, and I want to do this video because I read a lot of genres, but I mainly read by tropes. Like, I will find one specific trope that I like and I will just read that whole genre until I get bored of it, which usually takes about 3 books to read. Like, I don't even read a series. Like, I'll really just read 3 books and then I'll move on. So the first book that we have is Forced Marriage. So I actually have an entire Goodreads list solely off of, okay, there's 2 Forced Marriage books. There is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which is a very, very popular forced marriage book. Like, I feel like if you love forced marriage, that is one you've read. And then it's The Kiss Thief by LJ Shin, which I gave 4 stars to. If you've never read LJ Shin books before, I think that you would enjoy this. But if you have, I don't know, because one thing with LJ Shin is her books are very repetitive and her writing is very repetitive, and it follows the same formula for all of her stories. But The Unhoneymooners, if you didn't know what that is about, so there's about this main character named Olive who has a twin sister. And her twin sister is getting married, and she's very cheap. So she ends up getting all of her wedding guests sick, and she still needs to go on this vacation because that also, she got on a coupon. So they have to go. So Olive does not get along with the groom's brother, Ethan. They, like, hate each other. So Ethan has to go because, you know, they share the same last name, and Olive has to go because they share the same face and the same last name. So they both go on this vacation to Hawaii, so they have to, this honeymoon to Hawaii, and they have to pretend to love each other, and they have, it's the forced bed trope. I know another person asked me for forced bed, so it's a forced bed trope. But, and then The Kiss Thief is about this girl, it's like a mafia book, so it's about this girl who, her dad's, like, you know, the mafia, and her dad doesn't want her to, like, go to school or do anything. He really just wants her to be married. And they're at this dance one day, and she ends up bumping into this guy, and she hates him, which, honestly, he didn't really give her a good reason to not like each other. Like, I kind of am tired of, like, the enemies to lovers where, like, they hate each other because they, like, bump into each other, and the guy happens to say something mean, and then the girl's like, I hate him, and the guy's like, I hate her, but I don't hate her. I secretly love her, but I'm pretending to hate her. Like, I love enemies to lovers, but let's do better, okay? Thank you. Anyway, so that's basically how it happens. They dance. She doesn't like him. He's arrogant. She tells him the story about how their family have, like, this legend that their family has something, and it's told to her that her first kiss will be the love of her life. So he steals her first kiss, and, well, it's not her first kiss. It's like the kiss of that night. Is apparently the box can tell, like, specifically that night and the kiss, and then he ends up coming to her father and forcing her father to let him marry her because he had something over the father. And I mean, I liked it, but it was good. It's a good forced marriage trope. It's not like the best thing ever written. LJ Shin writing is very repetitive, and obviously the book has its problematic issues, but it's a good book nonetheless. Okay, you're probably like, man, why are you recommending this book? I've heard more bad than good. It's a good book subjectively, but it's not the best thing I've ever read. You know, Brother's Best Friend, Fix Her Up. There you go. Such a good book. It's about a guy who's a baseball player, he's a baseball player, and a girl who's a literal clown. Not like me, a clown, like girl who talks to guys even though she knows it's never gonna work out. Girls who always take guys back even though they hurt her feelings. Not me clown, but like a literal clown for birthday parties. So yeah, he's a baseball player, she's a clown, and he ends up, like, hurting his knee, I believe, and so he's, like, very sad and depressed, and she comes to his house one day, and she's like, get out of bed, and she convinces him to work with her brother, who's his best friend. They've been best friends, they grew up together, and romance ensues, and I thought it was a good book. A lot of people don't like this book. I thought this one was good. If you disregard the cringy talking at times, it's a good book. It's a good book, okay? I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's a good book, okay? Trust me. Or don't. It's to love, no fantasy or sci-fi. The Sun is also a star. I don't read Insta Love, sorry, but The Sun is Also a Star is the only one that I can really offer. Gave 5 out of 5 stars. I hate Insta Love. I absolutely love that book. I haven't watched the movie yet. I don't really want to cry right now. But The Sun is Also a Star. 5 out of 5 stars. It's pure. It's beauty. It's pure beauty, okay? Fake Dating. Ruthless Night. Okay, listen. Ruthless Night is the second book in the series. I think I'm going to end up recommending the first book in the series. Anyways, the second book is way better than the first, okay? The second book has fake dating. It's good. It's amazing. The first book is good too, but the second book, it's absolutely amazing. It is like a bully type of story. I'm into that. Sorry. My favorite book is The Cruel Prince. I don't know who wouldn't know that. But Ruthless Night, it's my all-time favorite. It's on my all-time favorite books list, and it's my favorite book I've read so far this year. Like, it's literally number one book I've read so far in 2020. Friends to Lovers or Second Chance Romance. So for Friends to Lovers, I would recommend The Long Shot, which is about this girl who meets this guy, and he's a foot basketball player, and then he ends up finding out she has a boyfriend, so they end up being friends. And her boyfriend also happens to be a basketball player. He's a piece of trash. I will say this book is very heavy. It's very emotional. The boyfriend is abusive and he's crazy, and she does get out of abusive romance, and they have the guy that she meets, they have a long friendship. He's always there for her, and I definitely would recommend that. And then the second book is also a second chance romance. I personally don't really enjoy Friends to Lovers. I'm sorry. I don't. And then Second Chance Romance is second book in the Fix Her Up series, Love Her or Lose Her. You don't really have to read Fix Her Up in order to read this. Love Her or Lose Her is about a married couple who have been married for so long and grew up together, and the guy, they're kind of losing touch with each other. So she leaves, and he's like, no, I love you. And she's like, you have to show it. And yeah, it's a second chance romance for married couples, which you don't really see a lot. And I actually really enjoyed the book, which I don't really care about. I care about second chance romances, but I grew up on Wattpad, okay? So a lot of the Wattpad tropes are ones that like I enjoy more. Like I enjoy Friends to Lovers Wattpad and Second Chance Romance Wattpad. I just think that they do it better, and the authors these days just aren't doing it like the Wattpad writers back in the day. You know, they just aren't giving it to us like the Wattpad writers. Sorry to say. Someone asked for found family. So for found family, I would say The Devouring Gray, which probably it is not really a found family at the moment. Like it's building up to it, but I personally love The Devouring Gray, and they're also a founders family, which is like the family who like founded the town. They are all like the children of the founder families, but it's also a found family. If that makes sense. So yeah, I would highly suggest that. And The Devouring Gray is literally Stranger Things. Like, you know how Stranger Things has the upside down? This one has the gray, which is like if you go into the gray, it's like, you know, dark, and you know, it's about these kids who are founders families, and yeah, the kids who are in the founders family, and it's about the gray. Best Friends to Lovers, I would say Best Friends to Lovers. I'm sorry, Joy, I know that you're not asked for this, but I'm gonna say Best Friends to Enemies to Lovers, and that would have to be Cruel Prince by A. Jade, which is about this girl and this guy who grew up together, and they were like the best of friends, and she moves away. When she moves back, the main guy hates her, and he's literally trying to ruin her life. And I love that. But also, if you don't want the enemies in there, I would have to say Filthy Little Pretties, which is about this girl who they had these two guy best friends, and she moves away, and then she moves back, and they rekindle their friendship, and it has romance, and it's a love triangle. It's very, very smutty though, I will say. But bringing up Wattpad again. Back in my Wattpad days, I used to eat the two guy best friends and the one girl. Ugh, love that trope so much. If I could get on my favorite Wattpad, I think I'm gonna do a video on my favorite Wattpad tropes, because those Wattpad 2000, I want to say 2012, before the fanfictions got on there. Nothing wrong with fanfiction, I read fanfiction, but before fanfiction moved to Wattpad, the Wattpad books used to be so amazing, and I'm pretty sure there's some hidden gems on there anymore, but I have my own library now, so if you guys want to see a Wattpad video, let me know. Fantasy with the badass main character, possibly a love triangle. I'm gonna have to say The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. No love triangle. I'm sorry. I don't hate love triangles. I actually like love triangles. But The Cruel Prince. it would not be a video if I would not recommend it. I love how like one of my videos I was like, I try to not recommend the same books over and over again, and here I am recommending The Cruel Prince in every single recommendations video. Like I literally try to find a way to fit it into every recommendations video. It's the best thing ever, okay? I'm sorry. I mean, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. A lot of people have read it because of me and they said, oh my god, like I loved it so much. And a lot of people have read it and they absolutely hated it. Don't read it if you don't like bullies, okay? If you can't handle like the whole guy picking on the girl because he likes her thing, you're not gonna like it. I loved it. Somebody asked for Secretly Dating, and I will have to say The Risk, the second book in the Briar You series. This book is about this guy and this girl who are actually fake dating and secretly dating at the same time, which I mean, you do see, but you don't see. You know, like a lot of the times they like fake dating and it turns to real dating, but like they fake date and then they have to like secretly date. And there's actually not a lot of books out there like that, which I mean, we need more of because I loved it. And they're also rivals to lovers. So it's a lot packed in there. And you don't really need to read the first book for it. I didn't. And honestly, the second book sums up the first book in literally 2 sentences, to be honest. Like, literally, it tells you everything that happens in the first book in 2 sentences, so you really don't even need to read it. Somebody asked for love triangle, and for this one, I would have to recommend Two Princes of Summer. I talk about this video very rarely. I actually gave this book 3 stars. I'm gonna reread it again because I talk about this book all the time and it's always on my mind. So I feel like it does deserve more than a 3-star, but I'm gonna have to like reread it. And the cover is absolutely beautiful. The author drew it herself or created it herself. And the book is about 2 fairies. Obviously, I'm a fairy girl. A lot of people like vampires. I like fairies. I mean, I love vampires, but for me, it's like fairies, vampires, werewolves. Werewolves used to be up there, but now, whatever. And so this book is about fairies, and I really like this book because the love triangle is good and it's believable, and it has you like you don't know which guy you really want her to be with or like which guy she's gonna pick because they're fairies, so of course they have their good moments, but they also have their moments where they're like absolutely evil and you don't want to root for either of them. But then they have the moments where like, oh my gosh, like I want to like, you want to root for them. So it's about this 2 princes. They're not brothers, but they're best friends, and one of the guy's parents dies, so the actual prince parent takes him in, and they both fall in love with the same human girl. It's like The Cruel Prince, but if it were to add a good love triangle. So yeah, I loved it. It was a good book, so I highly do suggest checking it out if you want to get more into fairies. Yeah, that is it for this video. I feel like I'm always recommending books, but it's so fun. Like I read so many books and I want to recommend as many different books as I can, and this was a fun way to recommend books that I don't really have a chance to like recommend, like books that don't really fit a specific genre, or like books that like I didn't love but I think people would actually love, but like I don't, in my recommendations videos, like sometimes they just don't make it in. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one.